Okay, good morning. Oh, it is morning. I've been up for a long time. I guess there's a bunch of things I have to do, and I have to go off the hill today. And I didn't realize it was actually this early. It's only 9:30. So we're going to do the lesson, and it's lesson 227 of a workbook of A Course in Miracles. And as usual, and I think I've been used to this coming, sometimes at a later moment. Whatever it is I'm given to say, or the theme, or however you want to talk it, the guidance that I get. I don't know how to talk about this anymore. For me, it comes from it seemed natural today when I got a phrase, and a lot of this happens when I'm in the shower or I'm in water and there's water associated. So at one point in time, Jesus told me that that's how we communicate. We communicate. Our minds are joined through the water. And that's the way we communicate, and it's the flow, and allowing that flow of communication to stay open. And he said, use water. He said, allow water, to represent the medium of communication. So whenever you drink water, it was almost a moment of, it was very similar. Now that I'm sitting here talking to you about it, I never thought of it this way. I never thought of it this way. I can from this moment on. There was a moment in time in Jesus' sojourn. I'll get back to the lesson in a second, but this is important as a personal moment for me, communication directly with Jesus right here, right now. And I never thought of it this way, but this is what it is for me. So, when Jesus was here in his sojourn, he had his disciples and he had his Last Supper, and he used a cup of wine and a loaf of bread. And he offered it to them. He said, whenever you do this in memory of me. And he was offering them, he was saying, remember me. This is my book. Utilize these symbols that are in the mundanity of your life as a way of remembering me and keeping me in the flow of your life here in space and time. And that became communion in the Catholic Church. And I was just sitting here, and I just remembered when this began to happen, when he gave me this phrase, and he stood up, and I actually could see him. When I say physically, it's not physically, but I could actually see in my presence as I am now, the being of Jesus as the light of who he actually is here with me one day. And it was then that I was given the idea of this water, of utilizing water. And I just realized the same idea, what became communion for the Catholic Church is what Jesus also offered me when I drink water. It's always to stay within the recognition of the fluidity of the nature of our ability to communicate with each other beyond space and time, yet while we are still within space and time, and allow water to be that which you are given as the reminder of that. And water right now is at a premium here in space and time as well, and no wonder. And it was much that way in Australia as well. I was constantly told times to tell everyone to continue to drink more water. And up here you have to, because it's so dry. It's also very quiet. For anyone of you who have ever been up here, you'll hear how quiet it is up here. So it's easy to still your mind because it's already stilled for you in that sense. And you just catch the flow of the stillness here and blend into the harmony of the occurrence of each moment, which is what this lesson today is all about. But this is the thing that I was given today, and I was given it much the way I was given the idea of drinking the water. Communication and the guidance always comes the same way. It's just constant refining of it, because you're constantly freeing yourself from the definition of limitation of what the communication can be and what can be utilized to express the communication as well, because it's just symbols, but what's behind the symbols is the light and the love that we are in reality. So what's giving anything light and love, or whatever is enlivening anything whatsoever, even illusion, is your own true light and your own true love. I mean, conjoined with the totality of who you are, yet without the total recognition of what is still in our minds as not as what we think we are, but as yet we are not in reality. And that's what we're all here to heal. So there's two things. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful preface to today's lesson, in a sense. So I'll explain why. So today I was given this to remember and offer to you guys. Everybody who's doing these lessons, and maybe somehow I'll write it, somehow I'll put it on the internet if anybody needs to remember it. I was told to remind us all to live our life, even if we have the understanding experientially of the world of space and time as being an illusion, okay? Or we are coming into the conception, or we're attempting to prove the conceptual recognition that we have in our own mind. We're making a conceptual recognition based on the reasonability of what's being taught here, that this is an illusion, yet we haven't yet had the experience, or perhaps we're skeptical about all of it. So this is what I was given, and it is much in line with everything else in a single action of mind to help us all enter into this holy instant. This is my holy instant of release, as each and every one is. And I know many people who come to A Course in Miracles and come to these lessons use them to beat themselves up because they don't think the release is what they make up an idea of what the release should be. They don't achieve that release in their experience and then begin to experience failure or begin to judge themselves as having failed and become disheartened and dispirited rather than inspired. And that's the aim. We want to inspire each other somehow, because the inspiration is within all us, and we are that inspiration. The Lord is with thee. Hail Mary, the Lord is with thee. The Lord is with you as well as he's with me, as well as he was with Mary, which is slightly different these days. So this is what I was given. Live life. Live your life here. Live life here in the mundanity of life. Live your life here from within the life these lessons are offering to you and I. Live your life here from within the life and love and unity that these lessons are offering to us here and now and each day. And that's the purpose. That's why he says, this is my holy instant of release. It's not the date, it's not the time, it's not the lesson number. It's this. It's here right now. And it's always here right now. There's no failure in the here right now. The failure is in the decision to not to use the definitions of your here and now against the decision you've made in your mind to free yourself. So it's not so much that, on August 15th at 9:39 a.m., I released my mind. No. This is my holy instant of release. Each day, each one of these lessons is designed. We get up in the morning. Remember, we read forgiveness. This is really interesting because it is the process of A Course in Miracles. We get up in the morning and forgive ourselves our own trespasses. And whatever that means to you in your own mind, to me, it means I allow my mind to be open because once again, I find myself here where I am, right here, whatever that means. Whether it was a yesterday, whether it was not, whether it was sin, doesn't make a difference. Today, let today be sufficient unto itself. This is my holy instant of relief. Father, it is today that I am free. Why? Because I only have one day. Each day, one day lives well. Will be the forerunner if there is a day seemingly to come. And when you're in the next day, there is only today. Tomorrow, this is a joke that they used to tell when I was a kid. What's always coming but never gets here, and it's tomorrow. It's always now, it's always here, it's always today. And this is what it's talking about. It's not failure because, I failed. I was doing lesson 227 on August 15th, and I really failed. I didn't feel any release, so I gave up hope. No, that's not what this is about. This is my holy instant of release. Father, it is today that I am free, because my will is yours, of course, and that will is free. I thought to make another will, yet nothing that I thought apart from you exists. And I am free, there it is. Live today from within the life these lessons are offering us here and now. Nothing that I thought apart from you exists. Live within the reality that nothing that I think apart from God exists. And then you would use forgiveness when you think thoughts apart from God because it doesn't exist. No, if something that doesn't exist can't have any effects, let's put it that way. So all the dream effects that you've given things in your own mind, that'll cause you like this in this association of thoughts that happen in your mind when something seems to occur in space and time. You dream up these effects. None of those effects are true. None of those effects are true. And I am free because I was mistaken and did not affect my own reality at all by my illusions. None, and those are illusions. My reality is unaffected by my illusion. And yet when I discover my reality, my illusion becomes affected by my reality because my illusion was always based on me. You. Together sometimes. Now we come together to free ourselves of each moment of the past in which we were either illusioned or disillusioned. It wouldn't matter, because if we were disillusioned in that experience together, the experience we'd have to have is one of forgiveness or miraculous nature to show us the light of our mind, which is the time of our release from the idea that we're bodies in space and time. Shows us what we're real, puts us in right order with reality, gives us right relationship with cause and effect, restores us to sanity, and now here we are. I was mistaken and did not affect my own reality. I'm free because I cannot exist apart from you. No thought that I can't have a thought that exists apart from you. And if there is a thought that I do have exist apart from you, it has no effect because it has no reality. Therefore, nothing can be suffered from. The only thing that can be suffering is the idea that I could be suffering in an illusion of space and time based on the thought that I could be suffering, so separate from you. But there can be no separation from everything. It's impossible. Even if you allowed nothing to exist, you couldn't be separate from the totality of what everything and nothing is. And that's the truth of the matter, except nothing in the human mind still has symbolic form association. Nothing does not exist in the whole perfect mind, because nothing would be the absence of everything. And if you are everything, you cannot have an absence within you. That's all I can tell you. It's all ideas. You got to get into your mind. Now I give them up and lay them down before the feet of truth, to be removed forever from my mind. This is my holy instant. This is the action that's happening within your heart and your mind as you free yourself from your preoccupation with death that you have been utilizing for eons and eons as a human being, and allow this 1 year and now this one day, this one instant, to be where you bring your heart and your mind together, because that's what we've been undoing, the false association, and allow ourselves to be enlivened even at the level of the physical. We're undoing the idea that we need to die and are given this one day, and I'm released right here, right now, in the action of freeing myself from space and time and the need to die. In this instant, all of that is gone, because none of it was real. It was just ideas in my mind. There's no such thing as time apart from your thinking about it. The clocks don't really mark anything, but what we tell it to mark. We just forget that we told it to mark and think that it's marking something that exists apart from our telling it. It does. Adam, naming what we do, Adam naming the animals. Now I give them up and lay them down before the feet of truth to be forever removed from mine. This is the holy instant, this right here. Father, I know my will is one with yours. I know for a fact, can it not be? Everyone does. You're just afraid there's consequences that have to be faced that you're unwilling to face because you may not understand what they are. And that's the nightmare that you live within the horror and the figures that you make up to justify that, when none of that is true. That's the illusion. The reality is none of that is true. You're not being punished for any of it except by that type of thinking. And in this moment, we're released from it. How happy is that to know? No matter how you feel that experience, how happy are you to find that out? And so today we find our glad return to heaven, which we never really left. The Son of God this day lays down his dreams. The Son of God this day comes home again, released from sin and clad in holiness, with his right mind restored to him at last. Do not worry about the fact that you still seem to think there was a yesterday and you still may experience it tomorrow. Do not use the fact that if you wake up tomorrow, you think you failed to do this lesson today. It's not about that. It's this, the here and now. When you're restored to your right mind, you won't even be questioning it. This is the joke's on me. When you're restored to your right mind, you won't need to watch these videos whatsoever. We'll just look at that moment together. What just happened in my mind, what's happening in your mind. We'll laugh together at the joke that we could possibly be separate. And this dream will begin to become the holiest thing you've ever seen, and not holy based on some definition of somebody sitting on their knees in a church with their eyes downcast, but wholly based on the light of truth shining through your eyes, through your mind, through your mouth, utilizing the totality of who you are right here and right now to express the joy and love that you experience, because it's always experiencing the release. The joy is always in the release of who you thought you were, in the discovery, without a tomorrow. Without the need for tomorrow, without the need for there to be proof tomorrow of the truth that you're discovering now, because there is only now, the eternity of now, that is the discovery. When you wake up, it will still be the same discovery tomorrow. And that's what these lessons are bringing us to every day. Every day, more and more, they're bringing us into we have but one day. This is your new occupation as Savior of the world. This is your new occupation as a healer. This is your new occupation. This is the beginning of the end of your preoccupation with death, and the beginning of the recognition of you have a new occupation. And you can live that occupation. That's today's message from Beyond Space and Time. You can live that occupation. This is what Ken Wapnick would try to convince people of, but when he would say just be ordinary. It's utilize. Live the ordinary life that you seem to be living from within the love and light and unity that you're experiencing within these lessons. It's in the mundanity. A friend of mine taught me that a long time ago, Brent. Now he's off teaching kids in Southeast Asia, having a ball playing music. It's within the ordinary. That's what Ken meant. Don't try to be, you don't have to be Superman to be Superman, to be a Superman. You don't have to aspire to anything within space and time. You just have to take the space and time you have been given as the bodily identity you think you are. Turn your heart and mind each day over to the spirit and love that's within these lessons, and live the ordinary nature of your daily life from the awareness that these lessons bring to us. And the more we allow this to occur in the morning and remind ourselves at night, and remember that this is our new occupation, because we've given up our preoccupation with the world of death. Everything's an idea, not a form. The old world of death, we've given up that preoccupation. Now, within the ordinary nature of what life was always been, now from within, and with this, it's the same movie seen from within a new light. And wherever this journey takes you, now the light will go before you, lighting the way, so you now know where you're going. You have the purpose in your mind, and let each day lived be sufficient unto itself. This is Jesus. So live your ordinary life, Ken Marknick, from within the love and light that's being brought to you, in the unity and harmony of our willingness to let this lesson be our occupation for the day, and all will be well. And each day lived sufficiently. At the end of the day, we take our inventory. It's 12 steps. At the end of the day, we take our inventory and we utilize forgiveness to free ourselves as we enter back into this experience of, in this holy instant, we are released. And this is my holy instant release. This is what we do. Tomorrow is not going to be any different. We're just going to utilize a different frame of reference to express what we're coming to do, because our mind is opening more and more, and we're freeing it from the totality of all the old ideas of what we thought reality or heaven was, allowing a new heaven to be given to us within our heart and our mind and the experience of within, and allowing the renewal from that new heaven, as above, so below, to reframe our life in the space and time within which we're given. New heaven and a new earth. Okay? Because we've come to understand how it happens and what's real and what's unreal. We don't have to define it anymore. We understand the action within ourselves. And we know how to free ourselves from the mistakes that the mistaken that we used our mind previously for to make the mistakes. So we're finding the mistakes that we made in seemingly new situations, lining them up like dominoes, asking for help within new frame of reference we're operating from, seeing it fresh within our whole heart and mind, and sending a shockwave that goes down all the dominoes back through the entirety of space and time, and heals that whole downline of failure to communicate, or lacks of love, or sin, or whatever you want to call them, that have been binding you. And each day we're given to that, and that's all we're given. Let each day be sufficient unto itself. And let the love that you experience be shared in the brotherhood of man and mankind. And that's all there is to do, because you've given up your preoccupation of death. You've joined hand with Jesus. Jesus is totally within God, so God is within Jesus. He's joined hand with you. He's in constant communication. You're asking him throughout the day, because you're living within this new frame of reference, these lessons that be given to us, not within a day in space and time, but within a day within your cycle, within your own sojourn. This is my holy instant of release, lesson 227. It's not the lesson, it's the instant. It's not the day, it's the time, it's the instant. Now, here it is.